Hi, I'm Shelly. Welcome to my Midwest garden, Zone 6. Today I have to do something ugly. I have put it off. I have hemmed and hawed. I have been indecisive in every way, but I think I just have to do it. And it's this hydrangea behind me. This is a PeeGee hydrangea, and it is a mess. Can you see the shape? It has no shape. It is deformed, whiplashed, and rugged. It's the weird hydrangea on the block. That's what it is. In my June video of the backyard tour, I had mentioned that when my hydrangeas are in full bloom, we generally get this really, really heavy storm that deforms them, and then they're leaning down instead of pointing up. And just a few days after I had posted that video, we had microbursts, tornadoes. We just had some really, really ugly weather, and most everything in my garden fared well, except this poor guy right here. The trunk is somewhat tilted back, so I need to fix that, but it's just, I can't let this go. I can't let it grow like this, because those stems are going to form thick and angle down and all over the place. So it is going to be painful, but I'm going to cut this back pretty harshly today. And like I said, this is a PeeGee hydrangea standard, so you can see it's on a trunk here. And well, I'm so sorry, I just broke something. Some of the branches were broken in the storm, and I'm sure I'll find more once I get in there. It is coming out of a bowling ball, a Mr. bowling ball, arborvitae. I think this is a form of arborvitae. This is supposed to be a dwarf. I don't think it's a dwarf. And it used to sit next to the tree, but part of it has sort of engulfed the trunk. So I don't know how I'm going to get a tree support in here, but I will try. But first, I'm just gonna get it over with and cut this down. And I really regret waiting this long right after the storm. I wish I would have just come in here, been decisive, and just cut it back. Because at that point, I think I may have had a chance of maybe some late season blooms. And doing this, I'm pretty positive I won't get any blooms out of it this year. However, I do think I'm doing it a favor by keeping it in a good shape. So I'm stalling, so we're just gonna get to it. We're gonna chop this baby down. Whew. Okay, one more thing before I do this. I am not just going to, stick them in there, stick these in here and then just cut willy-nilly. I am going to cut at a node. So wherever the branch is coming out and there are leaves coming off of it, I will cut at that point. So I do have the opportunity for it to branch out. And I do not know how far I have to get it back in order to get its natural shape, because its natural shape is supposed to be something like one over here. Let me point, something over there. There's the PeeGee hydrangea. Now that is, what, 12 feet away? Not damaged by the storm. But this one, yes. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that before I got cutting. Here I go. I'm really gonna do it. Oh, so this is a big branch. I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of cut into it, and then I know I'm probably gonna have to go through this more than once, but I have to cut it back to see how far I have to go. So the first few cuts were really difficult to make, but as I get going, then it just becomes a project and I get into it. These aren't so much facing the wrong direction, you know, going down or curving. It's just they're sticking so far out into the pathway. I'm going to try and show you some things that I am thinking about. You see this branch here, how it comes down and curves? That's what I don't want. I want this to be facing up. And this, at first, this tree generally has a habit of doing that anyway, but with the storm it just made it worse. But the thing is I've gone and I've to look at these at the stores, and in the nurseries they don't have that habit that grows like this. They all grow like that. So I hope that this pruning will get those branches deep into the tree facing up. The one across the way is a Pinky Winky, and the Pinky Winky needs to be an example to the PeeGee. There we go. Here's a very good example of what I'm trying to avoid, this growth habit, just like this. Now, if somebody is a hydrangea expert and can tell me that PeeGee hydrangeas just do that and that is their form, then I could relax a little bit and just learn that I do have to trim it back a few times even after it starts leafing out to keep these branches shorter so they don't shadow out too many things in the bed below it. But there again, I don't see other people's looking like this. I don't know the parentage of this hydrangea. It almost makes me think like there is Annabelle, because Annabelles, you know, they bend with the weight of their blooms. That's why I dug mine up, because they would be on the ground more than they would be in the air. Now they have updated Annabelles with sturdier stems. So maybe this has that parentage and it just leans towards that Annabelle's stem strength. I don't know that much about them. Let's talk about this shrub. This is a Hydrangea paniculata, and it grows in zones 3 through 8, which means it's a very hardy shrub and a lot of the country can enjoy this. It can grow up to 10 to 15 feet, and I think mine is pretty close to that. And it is a fast grower. This is a great choice for anybody wanting to do a hedge of some sort, because it gets so tall, because it grows fast, and because there's very little maintenance aside from what I'm doing today. Because it grows on or blooms on new wood, then I am usually trimming this back or pruning it back in late winter or very early spring. I think all of the things I mentioned before also make this a really, really good shrub for a beginner. I think these are pretty easy to find, even in the box stores, somewhere like Lowe's, Home Depot, maybe even Menards. And here I'm a zone 6, and my blooms usually start in July and they bloom out white, and then they go to a dusty rose in September, and then in October they go back to that wheat color, and I'm generally leaving them in that state all winter long just for bird interests. I do have a bird's nest in this one. I don't think we can see it through the leaves, but that nest has been there for a few years, and I can see in one of my chairs sitting in that window right behind the hydrangea, I can see the birds coming and going, and I can see the mama bird feeding the babies. I love that sight, so I try not to mess with the nest. This hydrangea thrives in full sun or partial shade. It likes moist, well-drained soil, and it likes regular watering. And when this thing is dry, it will tell you. The leaves will wilt and curl a little bit, and the branches will sag. Then within an hour or two of a really good long drink, they will perk right back up. So I don't think that it's a bossy plant, but I think it's very communicative, and I can appreciate that. Now, I'm not sure if if when placed in partial shade, they are as dense and as robust as they are in full sun, because mine has only ever been in this spot, which faces west, and so, you know, it gets the sun at the hottest part of the day, and it's never given me problems. It's really been a great shrub. I was thinking that I would have to be cutting all really thick branches back, but the fact that so many of these are really thin branches, kind of newer growth, gives me hope that, I mean, these could still grow this season. And you know, it's probably just going to leaf out and be a green tree and not a blooming tree. And I decided that I had to be okay with that before I started doing this. And I am doing it today because we finally had a break in our 100+ degree weather, and it's in the 80s for the next couple days. So I figured it is now or it is never. So this is what we're left with, and my carnage here. And to do a whole walk around, I mean, it looks way better than it did before. It's not a perfect shape, but it looks more intentional. You know, and after I get cleaned up, after I clean everything up, I may have to come out here and just do a little snips here and there, just to get it a little bit more even. I kept some branches down here. I think I'm going to put them in a vase. This mini Mauvette hydrangea bloomed out long ago. I've not been impressed with that. I was hoping this year would be better. I love the size of it, but it is a late spring, early summer bloomer, and then the rest of the season it looks like that. I would like something with a little bit more color timeline. Now the Pinky Winky is going great, and then the Limelight has not been damaged yet. It looks a little dry. Like I said, we have had this 100-degree heat, and it just got a really good drink yesterday. So maybe it needs another one. But I mean, that's tall. That's almost to the top of the arborvitae there. And I thought I trimmed it down pretty savagely this winter, but it's a happy camper. Okay, so I'm just going to sweep the rest of the patio. I did want to show this. In my earlier video, this Center Glow 9 bark, I trimmed savagely back. I guess that's just the name of the game this year, savage pruning. But I trimmed this way back. It was maybe a foot tall. And see, it has leafed out and it's doing great. And then I have Supertunia Jazzberry below, which is filling out beautifully. And every time I put this shrub on camera, I talk about how much I love it because all of its color changes. I mean, new leaves look like this, and then they go into this green leaf, and then they go into this burgundy maturity. And as the season changes and the temperature drops, it'll become a really dark burgundy. Not burgundy, burgundy. It looks really nice next to the, see my surprise lilies? My mom and I call them naked ladies. It looks really nice next to my rose with the purple leaves coming out. This is my Zephyrin. Looks like I have some mildew issues there. Ooh. I was just out here yesterday, didn't notice any of that. Okay, looks like another task on the to-do list. But in the fall, talking about the Center Glow 9 bark and its burgundy leaves in the fall, and then when these PeeGee hydrangea blooms get into their mauve, deep mauve, it just looks so pretty. So I am filling 2 containers up with water, maybe 3. We'll see how many of these are viable. And this is a jar I bought at a craft show. And this is a coneflower that I knocked down while mulching, and then a sweet potato vine that I also accidentally cut, and it's been water. You see all of those roots. I was going to plant it outside, but you know, it's been over 100 degrees. So it's just been in here making me happy. So I'm just going to take these and de-leaf them the best way I know how. Just pulling down on the stem and getting the stems up here. Sometimes people will put soap or milk, some things, you know, don't quote me on that, I don't remember what they are, but there's some household products we can put in the water for hydrangeas to keep them longer. But I gotta be honest with you, I don't like the smell of hydrangeas. And outside it's fine because it's just a whiff of them every now and then when the breeze is just right. That I don't mind, but they have a very pungent, flowery smell. And so I don't enjoy them for too long inside. I like to see them from across the room, but nothing else. I do know when you cut, I cut on an angle, and I don't know what the going philosophy is on that. That's way too big. And I don't need to keep these for very long. Oh, I was trying to pull the leaf and I pulled the whole top of the hydrangea. Be careful with your sharp things. I am not very good at flower arrangement. I don't even think about it very often. I enjoy them so much on the outside. I don't think about bringing them inside. So when I put them together, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just ripped the sweet potato vine leaf. I am paws and claws today. See this? See how it's growing? See the J? This is what I don't want in my hydrangea standards. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna perk up a little bit, but that's what I have. So that's what I have. Now, we're going to try just this mason jar, see if I have any other viable stems here. While I'm here, I want to talk about the pruners that I'm using. These are a pair of Pink Lady pruners, and they actually sent these out to me to see what I thought. And this is the first time I've been using them, and they have a whole line of tools, which I have a toolbox of theirs that my mother got for me years ago. We come from a household of, my dad has lots of tools. And the idea for me having my own toolbox with a pink hammer and pink level and pink measuring tape and just the household basics, that he would never think that your tools were his. So that is very true. I have never lost a single piece of my pink tools, and they have never wound up in my husband's garage or my dad's garage. So I've always liked what they have, and they just came out with a gardening line, and they sent these out to me, and they are, I have a cheat sheet here, this comes on the back of the box. They are high carbon SK-5 steel, and they're ergonomically designed, and they are very comfortable. I don't know how long these rubber grips will last through a season. Like I said, this is the first time I've used them outside. I mean, I've done little like petunia trimming, which doesn't take a lot to do that, but they did a really good job on the branches of the hydrangea, and it does say here that they will go to a 3/4 inch cutting capacity. Okay, so here are the stats of these tools. They feel good, they're very light, and this is what I like, is this handle right here. You see this? It is long, so it is very easy to lock and unlock. Now, I generally use Felcos, but they are pricey. I had to work up to afford those. They're very heavy, and at first I thought, how do people do this all day? But the heaviness, you just get used to it, and I do love my Felcos, but they can be cost prohibitive. So these would be maybe the next best thing to that, and easy to find with the pink stripe here. There will be a link in my bio to Amazon where you can get a set of these. So if you want a pair of these, if these sound good to you, these Pink Ladies, then check out that link below. Now usually when I do this, bring in flowers from the outside, I find spiders or ants or weird bugs flying around. They last for a few days. We catch them. We take care of them. But that is one deterrent that keeps me from bringing in flowers. You'd think as many as I have outside, I would love to bring them in. I just don't. This one's not a very pretty one, but I need a placeholder right about there. So let's see. Well guys, that is going to be it for today. We did a nasty job together. Thank you for getting all the way through the video. I'm glad I didn't have to do that project alone. And I'm glad I got to end it in the kitchen in cool weather with a fan going up. So if you have any advice or any words of wisdom on a PeeGee hydrangea and its growth habit, I would very much appreciate in the comments below. I do always appreciate your comments and your likes and your subscribes. Thank you so much. Enjoy your gardens. Hello, where'd it go?